Constructicons form Devastator, the most powerful robot. We should rule. Constructicons, merge for the kill!
Hello, Bots and Books fans, this is Scorp1701, and welcome to part 4 of our 7-part series featuring the Transformers Studio series, Constructicons. Yes, now in the first 3 videos, we took a look at Scrapper and Bone Crusher and Hook, and tonight we are going to be taking a look at Long Haul. And if you've seen the Hook video, then you know that Hook and Long Haul come packaged together in this huge box because the Constructicons had 6 bots instead of 5. They couldn't really get a single bot as a commander class, so they put 2 together so you could get a commander class pricing and packaging. So, yay, I guess. So, taking a look at Long Haul's packaging, you have a huge box, you have more than meets the eye, you have 3 of 5, you have a 17-step conversion and 8+, and that is technically for Hook, and then you have Hook there, and then you have Long Haul here, and he has a 19-step conversion set over here, and in the background you can see this is the attack on Autobot City. This is really great, and I do miss that the Studio Series doesn't put in backgrounds anymore, because this would have been a great background to pose the Constructicons in front of. But anyway, you have the different attacks, and that is really neat, and I think that might be Megatron's leg right there. Anyway, you have Transformers Studio Series, Transformers the movie, Constructicon Hook, Constructicon Long Haul, and then you have Hasbro down here on the bottom. That is really neat. Coming to the top of the box, you just have Transformers the movie logo, Constructicon Hook, Constructicon Long Haul, and Takara Tomy. Coming to the left side of the box, you have a nice picture of Devastator, which is on all of the Constructicon packaging. Down at the bottom, you have 3 of 5 Transformers Studio Series, Transformers the movie. Coming around to the right side of the box, you have Hook and Long Haul in their vehicle modes. You have a nice Autobot symbol, which I have no idea why that's there. Should be a Decepticon. You have Transformers Studio Series and Transformers the movie logo, and that is really cool. Coming to the bottom of the packaging, you just have some credits for the box, and you have a nice barcode. So if you are looking for this, that barcode may help you find it in the store. You can take a look at that, scan it if it will help you. But we must be moving on to the back of the packaging. And on the back of the packaging, you have a nice film shot up here at the top left of Devastator devastating the Dinobots. Over to the right, you have Transformers the movie, Constructicon Hook, Long Haul, and a brief read-up of both of those Constructicons. I will zoom into that, focus it. You could pause the video, read that to your heart's content, but we must be moving down the back of the packaging so we can see some nice product shots of Hook in his robot mode and in his vehicle mode, and you have Long Haul here in his vehicle mode and in his robot mode, and then you have some more credits for the bottom of the box. And that is cool, and that is the packaging. And if you've been going through this series in order, then you have seen this now twice. And I'm sorry about that, but suppose you only wanted to do Hook or Long Haul. You wouldn't have got the benefit of this awesome packaging. And that is Long Haul in the packaging, but I don't want to see Long Haul in the packaging. And he is in there because when I did the Hook video last time, I did see him. So have no fear. We're going to get him out and see if he can really go the distance. And before we get into the review itself, I do want to showcase this little additional trailer that comes packed in with Long Haul and Hook. Now, this is a little trailer that can attach to Long Haul. It's not movie specific or cartoon specific, but it is basically going to be the lower half of the Devastator body, and you can see it has these attachments of his chest piece, and these are going to be his hands up here, and this is the other part of his chest piece here on the bottom. And this is going to be something that I don't really think needs to be part of this review. It's just going to take up some time, and we will come back to it in part 7 when we form Devastator, but for the time being, I just wanted to take a quick look at it and see how it attaches to Long Haul there. That is pretty cool, but that's about all I really want to do with this thing. Also, in the packaging, you do get a Devastator specific set of instructions. This will help you transform each of the Constructicons into their Devastator limb mode and put them all together. Again, we will take a look at this in part 7, the Devastator combined mode video, but for right now, we are just going to take a look at Long Haul, and these technically do not apply. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get the actual review started. And here we have Long Haul out of the box, and out of the box, Long Haul comes packaged in his dump truck mode, and he also comes with a nice set of instructions that will help you transform him from a dump truck to a robot. They are a combined set of instructions with Hook, obviously, and he comes with his laser rifle, which we'll take a look at in just a moment. But first, I want to take a closer look at this heavy loader. And taking a look at Long Haul in his dump truck mode, because that's how he was out of the packaging, and I always like to start with how they are in the package, so I think in the long run it will help you guys out. So what we got is a normal looking dump truck, and I do like the proportions of it a lot better than the Combiner Wars, which we'll see in just a minute. And you can see you have the front cab here with purple windows and a little windshield wiper there. That is really neat. You got awesome Decepticon symbol here on the front. You got some grill sections. You got headlights picked out in silver. I like that. Coming to the side, you got some more purple windows. You can see the bed of the dump truck, and then you got some nice big wheels. You got 4 of these, and they're plasticky with some silver hubcaps. I like that. Coming around to the back, there's not really much anything here. You could articulate that these are like tail lights, but they're not picked out in any colors. You do got some nice red and purple up here and what would be the truck bed, but actually are his lower legs. Coming around to the other side, still the same kind of things. You got some molded detail up here that looks like little compartments. And coming to the bottom of the truck, you do have some robot parts there, and you can see Long Haul's head sticking out there, so it's okay. As for functionality, you do get a lot of good rolling out of this guy. Those are big movable wheels that help him roll around, and on the front you have this cool little section that will flop down, and you can actually see some workings of the engine. So that is a really cool molded details that they didn't have to put in there, because really, how would you see them? Anyway, coming back to the back, now the dump truck bed doesn't technically come down on its own. If you break into the transform and bring the lower legs up, you can kind of pretend that you're dumping stuff. Doesn't really look that great, but it is an option if you want to try to play like that or pretend that it's working. So we'll just get that back, and that is pretty much what Long Haul looks like and his functionality in his dump truck mode. Alright, moving on. And here Long Haul is with the rest of the Studio Series Constructicons. Scrapper, and he is much bigger than the leader Scrapper, which is okay. And there we have Bone Crusher. Again, blows Bone Crusher out of the water when it comes to height and length, so that is neat. And then his box mate Hook, which is kind of equivalent to his size. I think they're both Voyager classes, even though it doesn't say so on the box. So yeah, that is a nice comparison between the two. And I think Hook actually might still be a little longer in vehicle mode, but it's only by a hair if it is. So anyway, that is what your Studio Series Constructicons are looking like, and we just got 2 more to go, and I am super excited to get to them. Alright, and for comparison with some other Decepticons, here Long Haul is with Megatron in his tank mode. And this is really nice. Of course, Megatron comes in a little longer than Long Haul, but Long Haul is a little taller than Megatron in his Netflix tank mode. And that is pretty cool. Coming with another combiner. Here he is with Dead End. And I think Dead End in this respect is slightly bigger than he should be. I think he should be kind of one scale down comparatively to a dump truck, but I'm not hating the scale exactly. And then finally here he is with Starscream, and it really doesn't make a lot of sense to compare a dump truck to a fighter jet, but here it is. And that's actually why I don't have Soundwave out here, because I think it's strange to have a cassette recorder with a dump truck. We will see Soundwave in robot mode, but for now I think the vehicles were the ones to get a good comparison with. Alright, and that is going to be Long Haul with his fellow Decepticons. And for comparison with some Autobots, here Long Haul is with Optimus Prime, and Prime appears to be a little taller and longer than Long Haul, so that is a bit odd. But, you know, I guess there's some benefits to being the Prime. You get to be bigger than almost everything. And bringing out Grapple. Grapple, I think, in this context is a little smaller than he should be. I think he should actually come up to about here. But it is what it is. He is a little longer than Long Haul, as it were. And, well, to be, you know, height-wise, he's not as tall, but that's still okay. And bringing out Hoist, taking a look at these two, I think this is a good scale. I think this truck and the dump truck look really good together comparatively. And then finally, let's bring out little Bumblebee, and that could work, I guess. There have been some really big dump trucks. I've seen them at a science museum in our local town, so that's a good comparison. Alright, let's get these guys back in order, and that is gonna be what Long Haul looks like with some Autobots. And finally, for comparison, here you have the Studio Series Long Haul with the Combiner Wars Long Haul. And the Combiner Wars Long Haul is obviously a lot bigger. In fact, he's so big that you could put the Studio Series Long Haul in his truck bed and drive him around if he doesn't fall off. But, yeah, taking a look at him, the design for the Combiner Wars Long Haul, the dump truck, had to be a lot bigger, because at this time Hasbro didn't believe in parts forming, so this had to create a majority of Devastator's lower body. So that is why he is so huge. Proportionately speaking, the Studio Series Long Haul looks a lot better and more like a dump truck, even though you have the basic design of a dump truck here with the Studio Series. What with the back dumping section and the front, it's just, this doesn't look like an Earth type vehicle to me. But, you know, for the time, it was a good stand-in for this, I think. So, yeah, there you go. Looking at these guys from all sides. And definitely, yeah, I like the Studio Series dump truck better than the Combiner Wars, even though the Combiner Wars is huge. Alright, and that's going to be your comparisons. Moving on. And for transformation, now please understand I don't necessarily go by how the instructions say, but by the end of the segment we get to where we need to be. Alright, so Long Haul's transformation is very similar to a G1 transformer. It's so simple. So what I like to do is start by bringing the legs up and around. So when you do this, make sure they are popped into place, and you'll hear a nice big click when you get them fully in place. Coming around to the back, let's pull out his heel like such on both sides. That is good. Alright, so at this point, what I want to do is raise the camera because he is such a big transformer. Alright, let's zoom out a little bit too so we can get a lot of room. Alright, so what we need to do here is work on the arms. So what we will do is pull this black section out from the side, and it's a tight connection. Very tight. So pull it out, be very careful. Alright, once you get it out, go ahead and bring this forearm part up and then back down, and that will bring your arms together. Then you can go ahead and pull out this hand on the end of each, and then pull these out to the side. All right. From here, what we need to do is turn it around, pull this little section, and then it will come down, and then you can fold it back in on itself to create a nice flat back piece. That is good. And now coming back to the front, bring the front of the vehicle down, and that will help Long Haul's head to start to come up, and you'll just need to pull it up just a hair, and there he is. Ha ha ha. Now orientate your arms down, and there you're gonna have a Long Haul in his robot mode. And like I said, very easy, very simple to get there. I love it. All right, let me make sure he is all straightened out, and I will be right back to take a look at him. And coming in real close on Long Haul's head sculpt. Now you can see he has one of the more original looking head sculpt. It is basically all silver with this nice helmet looking thing, beautiful red visor, and a silver mouthpiece. I like that. Very distinguishing. And let's zoom out so we can see his upper body. And basically his upper body is the front of the dump truck. And as a Transformer, that's nothing that is too strange, I guess. You got the nice purple here that we saw earlier. You got the Decepticon symbol still there and the headlights. Now you have the huge honking wheels as his shoulders, and then your forearms are here. Scrolling down, you can see some nice chunky hands, and then coming down you do have a straight green midsection, and then you do get a little bit of paint apps on his upper legs, which is the back of the dump truck, and then you got the reds and the purples, and that is pretty nice. So yeah, he is still a big bulky boy, and there's not a lot to him, but it's still a neat little design, I think. So coming around to the side, you get the carry through of the purple, but then it's not really for, you know, robot mode. Then you got the wheels and the side of the foot. Back, you got a little bit of detail back here, which is really nice. There's not as much hollowness as I was expecting, like we got with the other Constructicons, and then on this side is pretty much the same. So yeah, he looks really good. I like him. He is a little more proportionate than the Combiner Wars Long Haul, which we'll see in just a moment. But yeah, that is good. And that is what Long Haul looks like. Moving on. And for Long Haul's articulation, starting with the head can go around 360 degrees. That is really neat. It can go forward a little bit. It can go backward just to the starting point, and you do get a little wiggle waggle in there. So that is pretty neat for a head sculpt of this magnitude. Coming to the shoulders, shoulders can come up from the bodies a long way and then back down. It can go around 360 degrees. You do have a nice elbow bend, just a shade higher than 90 degrees, I think. That is cool. And that is built into a forearm rotation, which will give you 360 degrees there. Coming down to the hand joint, which can move in and out, and that's pretty much it, and that's only for transformation purposes. Coming to the center of the body, you do have what I would consider like a backward abdomen, because it can kind of go up a little bit or back a little bit. But if you don't like that, you can use this midsection here to move him down as like a forward ab crunch and then back, and that is pretty neat. There is no waist articulation to speak of, so that is the best you're going to get when it comes to the center of the body movement. Coming to the legs can come up a long way. You got about 90 degrees there. That is good. Coming back, you can get them just over 90 degrees because there's less hindrance in the back. And then finally you got a side kick of 90 degrees, and that is really cool. So the legs on long haul can do a lot of cool stuff. Then you have a thigh rotation 360 degrees around, so that is neat. Coming down to his knee bend, and the knee bend, well, as you can imagine, is really good. It's almost all the way, and that's due for transformation, so yeah, that is cool. And then finally coming down to his foot, the foot can rock to the inside and then back out, and that's about it. It doesn't tilt forward or upward or left or right. It doesn't rotate. It's just rocks to the inside. So that's not too bad. It is a bit surprising all the articulation this guy has comparatively to the other one. And I know I keep talking like I'm trashing the Combiner Wars long haul, but really he was just a big block. There wasn't much to him. Anyway, that is going to be Studio Series Long Haul's articulation. Moving on. And for accessories, now we know Long Haul comes with the special trailer, but that's mostly for Devastator, and we'll take a look at that in part 7. But for Long Haul specifically, he comes with his cool little laser pistol, and this is really nicely done. You got the green section back here with a lot of detail in there, and then the barrel is black plastic section, and that is really neat. You got a lot of cool molded detail in here, and you can bring Long Haul out and he could just hold this in his hand, and we'll zoom up so we can see him getting ready to attack some Autobots like he does. So that is neat. And another cool thing about Long Haul's weapon, like we haven't seen before in the others, is it can come apart. So you can have this small section that he can hold on to like such. It's not as impressive, I guess, without the barrel to it. But you also can use this as a standalone missile type thing. And this can actually plug into different places on his vehicle mode. I haven't been showing that with the other Constructicons weapons, but I thought this was cool and special enough to do that. So yeah, that is really neat. And that is going to be Long Haul's accessory laser blaster and missile. And that's really neat. Okay, moving on. And for comparison, here you have Long Haul with the rest of the Constructicons that we have looked at so far. We have Scrapper and Bone Crusher and his box mate Hook, and this is a great set of Constructicons. This team is really coming together, and I can't wait to get the whole set out here. But wow, I love the way these guys look. Very G1, very accurate, and I'm having a blast. And I hope you are too, taking a look at these awesome bots. And for comparison, here you have Long Haul with the Netflix Megatron, the Earthrise Starscream, the Legacy Dead End, and the Netflix Soundwave. And these are a whole bunch of good Decepticons. I definitely think Long Haul comes up to like the Voyager level, especially seeing him right next to the Deluxe Dead End. The Combiner bots, pretty much going to be the same side except for the leaders, but Devastator is always different, and Long Haul really made up a big part of Devastator's body. So he's always going to be bigger than the other Constructicons, I think. So yeah, this looks really good. And for comparison with some Autobots, here you have Long Haul with Dramatic Capture, Optimus Prime, Earthrise Grapple, Earthrise Hoist, and Studio Series Bumblebee. And this is a great group to compare. Definitely reminds me of that episode from Season 2, The Master Builders. And it's neat to see how the different bots from the different Hasbro lines all can work together and look really good. Alright, and for comparison, here you have the Studio Series Long Haul with the Combiner Wars Long Haul. And the Combiner War Long Haul is just huge, and he had to be, because Long Haul here had to take up a majority of the Devastator body. He is just so huge. That's why these are actually Devastator's legs, and you'll just fold these down and add Scrapper and Mixmaster to him. But he was just a huge chunky boy, and he couldn't help it. And as far as the comparisons with the Studio Series, he is a much better looking figure. He's much more streamlined and he doesn't stick out everywhere. But again, with the Studio Series, you get a little bit of parts forming with Long Haul's trailer, which pretty much makes up Devastator's lower body. So there's a lot of differences here, but there's also a lot of similarities with the head sculpt and the different pipes sticking up and the colors and the design of the bot. So that is pretty neat. All right, and that is going to be your comparisons. Moving on. And the last thing we need to do is to put Long Haul into his combined mode. And to do that, I found it easier just to leave him in his robot mode, because this is where all the joints you need to get to are more prominent. Okay, so first off, let's go ahead and fold in these hands. We're going to do that, and then we'll detach the forearm part. Okay, like this. Come around to the back, and on the back you will see this nice tab section here and here, and we will turn the forearm section to the outside, revealing a port, and that will connect right here. And when you get that in, we are going to use this tab to go into the port on the side of the arm, like such. All right, show you again. On the back, you have this tab. Fold the forearm to the outside to reveal a port. Then bring that up and connect the two. And then when they're connected, use this side tab to connect to the main body. Alright. There. And when you're done, you're going to look like this with the fist right here on top. Okay. So from here, go ahead, bring this part out and make it flush. And then we can go ahead and move the front of the truck down like such. Okay. And then we are going to fold the legs up, and we are going to angle the heel right here to put into these ports on top of the back here. So do that to move them over and make sure they get tabbed into there. All right, and when that is done, go ahead and connect the legs back here again. So that is good. Everything is nice and tight and put in there. And coming around to the front, the last thing we need to do, pull down the front of the truck, put Long Haul's head in, push that back up, and here you have Long Haul in his combined mode. Now it looks very strange and not familiar, but once we get into Devastator mode and start attaching things, it will make sense. So yeah, that is a really neat and strange looking form, but this is Long Haul's combined mode. Moving on. And this has been the Transformers Studio Series Constructicon Long Haul. And this was such a fun little Transformer to play around with. I am very happy with how they did Long Haul in this Studio Series as opposed to how he came across in the Combiner Wars. This Long Haul is very, very good. He is proportionate, he is articulated, he is very easy to transform. There is really nothing bad about this guy. I think his sculpt and mold are great. Dead on G1 Long Haul. His paint and color is good. I like the paint apps that they used. It does seem to go all the way through, or it just may be how they set it up. I think his colors just pop in all the right areas. The articulation was good, a little surprising for how big he was and what he could do and what he couldn't do. For accessories, he had his laser pistol, and it was really cool. It could come apart and go different places on his vehicle mode if you were so inclined to do that, but I don't think I'll ever do that, but the option is good to have. And like I said, the transform was really simple, really fun, and he looks great in both modes, robot and dump truck. I only wish that the back of the truck could have come down a little more, or could have been a little hollow so you could actually put stuff in, but that is just a minor nitpick. Otherwise, this guy is great. So that is it. That is the Transformers Studio Series Constructicon Long Haul from the huge deluxe box set with Hook. And if you are looking for this guy, you can find him on the shelves right now, and he'll go anywhere between $90 to $100 depending on where you pick him up. So if you are looking, happy hunting. And that's it, guys. That will wrap up part 4 of our 7-part series. I hope you enjoyed the review. Come back next time as we take a look at the Constructicons Scavenger. And until next time, guys, have a great night and keep playing.
Constructicons